Not many desserts are given an elevated status of their own. Cheesecakes, on the other hand, are different. Take the United States. Every 30th of July, Americans celebrate National Cheesecake Day by having a slice or two of this rich, creamy dessert. But the appeal of the cheesecake extends well beyond its borders. We caught up with two pastry chefs to suss out its growing popularity. If there's one dessert you'll find at food and beverage outlets, both upscale and down, it is cheesecake. You'll see them at fine dining restaurants, casual cafes, and supermarket delis. Cheesecakes have been around a long time. Word has it they date all the way back to ancient Greece, 776 BC. There's a variety of cheeses, cream cheese, cottage cheese, ricotta, that can be used to make cheesecake. Today, cream cheese makes the most preferred cheesecake ingredient. But pastry chefs Mike and Daniel say it's the popularity of cheese itself that gives this sweet dessert its universal appeal.
Cheese is something that a lot of people love it. And it's also because it's very easy to make. And you can really play around with different type of combination.
Today, cheesecake is known everywhere. If I do something with cheese and to do cheesecake, I think I don't have to educate anybody. Everybody just know about it.
For many patissiers, cheesecake has become a playground for crossover experimentation. From the humble and delicate New York cheesecake to tropical lychee to maple sea salt, there is a delightful versatility about cheesecakes. For Daniel, his experimentation with various flavors, more often than not, has resulted in rather strange combinations, like this one, durian cheesecake.
We created a durian and cheesecake. The mere thought of the combination, will it work? You know, when I tasted the durian, and the flavor of durian toys inside my mind, can durian and cheese work together? So normal people will say, oh, durian and cheese, how can that match? You know, it's sweet and savory. So, but then to me, it's another level of creativity.
Indeed, long gone are the days when cheesecake meant just a plain, creamy cheese filling with a golden brown crust. These days, patissiers are combining different flavors in this tiny piece of dessert. With its complex array of flavors and textures, which cheesecakes are in vogue with dessert lovers today?
Oreo cheesecake, and raspberry cheesecake. I really like the texture of the cheesecake because it's very different from sponge cake and mousse because it's really soft and it melts in your mouth.
New York cheesecake, I like the denseness of the cheese flavor in the cake. You know, the richness of the cake. It gives me an overpowering feeling.
In general, I like most types of cheesecake, including like the Japanese one is a bit light.
Cheesecakes are good on their own or when served alongside other food or drinks like ice cream, coffee, and tea. When asked about the ABCs of cheesecake and food or drink pairing, Mike says it's all about relativity.
Depend on what kind of combination you have. Like for example, if maybe you have a strawberry cheesecake, you might want something like a tea, fruity tea to pair with it. If you have something like a rich, creamy cheesecake, a New York cheesecake, maybe it's good to pair with single origin coffee.
Despite the seemingly simple preparation process, baking a cheesecake is an art and science rolled into one. It is a delicate job that requires patience and good understanding of the ingredients used. Daniel is baking a cookies and cream cheesecake, which he says is hard to get its full flavor unless you add this secret step to the recipe.
Take the cream between the cookies. Because this cream added more sweetness to the cake, and which is not very pleasant when eating them.
The next step is to prepare the chocolatey crust.
Once you got all the cookies ready, we're just gonna blend them into a little powder, cookie crumb. So place the cookie crumb into the baking tray. And then we just flatten it with hand. You can add a little bit of butter with the crumbs, and then that will help the base to be a little bit more solid and easier to manage, but I prefer not to because the cream cheese has the natural fat, which is gonna just fall very nicely over the cookies. So that will help the cookies to stick nicely onto the base.
When your cookie crust is done, mix the rest of the ingredients together to get the soft and creamy cheesecake filling. Once the batter has a firm, fluffy consistency of a mousse, transfer it into the baking pan and bake it at 110 degrees Celsius for about an hour and a half. Daniel says the key to getting the perfect texture of cheesecake is to bake it at a low heat to prevent it from becoming too crumbly. Like aging wine, most cheesecakes need to be chilled to let the flavor set. Let the cake cool for at least 5 hours, preferably overnight, to enjoy the velvety richness in the sweet treat. To give your cheesecake a nice finishing touch, you can also decorate it with some fresh fruit and sugar powder before serving. And there you have it, a delectable way to conclude any meal. Ain't the best things in life sweet? Looking good. Best ways to enjoy your cheesecake and some tips there on how to make a perfect one.
It's too early in the morning for cheesecake. It's got to be too early.
For someone as cheesy as yourself.
Oh, wow, job. I was just going to say, the producer wasn't able to get us some cheesecake, but I did bring moon cake for you. A different type of cake, but very big here in Asia, obviously, as you guys know, with the Mid-Autumn
odd
Festival.
substitution, I have to say.
Yeah.
There's something special about these mooncakes, though. They're not regular mooncakes.
No,
right?
let's show our audience. This is actually, I was doing an ice cream story with Haagen-Dazs, and so they gave me some moon cakes, and I said, you know what, I'll bring them to the guys back in the
Haagen-Dazs, so they're ice cream.
They're ice cream, yeah. I don't have a knife, so I can't cut it, but basically if you cut in, you'll see the intricate colors of the moon cake design.
Well,
this one's strawberry and one chocolate.
Cheese or not, cake is appreciated. Thank you very much.
I called dibs on the chocolate one.
Yes, well.